Caitlyn Clark, an athlete who has elevated the game of women's basketball to a global stage, has become the target of an astonishing amount of negative attention, mostly from her own peers. One of the most recent waves of drama started when WNBA players and certain authorities within the league accused Caitlyn Clark of being the biggest trash talker in WNBA history.
Some more of the old heads in the WNBA who still can't seem to get with it and continue to just spread negativity across the league and also seem to never be happy about it.
If you've watched Caitlyn Clark play, this claim is not just absurd, it's completely unfounded. Clark, known for her incredible three-point shooting and unshakable focus, has made a name for herself as a player who speaks through her game.
Older than you, better than you on your team, but if they see that you are a young star and you're doing really well, they will do whatever they can do to sabotage.
Not through words. This accusation came out of nowhere, and for fans who followed her career, it felt like an unfair smear attempt. But why the smear campaign? Caitlyn Clark, since entering the WNBA,
the kind of reputation that the WNBA starts to get, because there was also a stat that came out a few weeks ago that
has been an undeniable force. Her ability to shoot from beyond the arc, sometimes further than Steph Curry, has drawn massive crowds and garnered millions of new fans, both young and old. She doesn't just play basketball. She electrifies the court in a way no one else has in recent memory. And with her rise to stardom, some within the league seemed intent on taking her down. Let's set the record straight.
Caitlyn Clark received 17% of the WNBA's flagrant fouls this season, and 80% of those flagrant fouls were committed by the Chicago Sky against.
Caitlyn Clark is the face of modern women's basketball. Her incredible college career, capped off with groundbreaking performances and championship appearances, led to her transition into the WNBA with great anticipation. And let's be clear, Caitlyn Clark's entry into the WNBA brought a surge of excitement and viewership.
Caitlyn Clark came into this league, that was the free promotion for the entire league. And I'm sorry, the product has something to do with it. Caitlyn Clark is—
She was the breath of fresh air the league desperately needed, attracting not just casual fans, but also hardcore basketball enthusiasts who had been yearning for the next big thing in women's hoops. And then, there's the unfortunate reality. While Clark's performances on the court have been mesmerizing,
that we have ever seen, Caitlyn Clark has bridged the gap from the hardcore basketball fans who have been watching the WNBA for years.
She's also had to endure a troubling amount of dirty plays, physicality, and unsportsmanlike conduct aimed at her. If there's one thing that's clear, it's that Caitlyn Clark's opponents aren't just trying to beat her on the scoreboard.
Have a player like Caitlyn Clark who comes around, who shoots three-pointers further back than Steph Curry, and she's been doing it for 4 years.
They're trying to take her down mentally and physically. One of the most high-profile incidents occurred during a crucial game in June 2024. Caitlyn Clark, already battered from the toll of the season, found herself on the receiving end of a reckless play by Connecticut Sun's Dejanai Carrington. Carrington struck Clark directly in the eye, a blow that left her momentarily blinded and in visible pain.
That is a product. That is a product that she brought to the WNBA that is all of a sudden exciting for many people.
The response from the officials: silence, no foul, no penalty. Clark, despite being clearly hurt, stayed in the game, showing the world what true toughness looks like. This was no ordinary play. A simple steal attempt turned into a full-on eye poke that left Clark struggling to regain focus. Yet, the refs failed to call a foul, further exacerbating the situation. Fans were furious. Caitlyn Clark, who had carried her team to that point,
don't understand why people can't just acknowledge that. What does it hurt for you to acknowledge that this
was being left to tough it out alone, without the necessary protection from the referees who are supposed to ensure fair play? But it doesn't stop there. Over the course of the season, Clark has been the victim of multiple cheap shots. Whether it's been an elbow to the ribs or a dangerous takedown, Caitlyn Clark has had to endure physical play that no one should have to face. And yet, despite all of this, Clark has remained stoic, silent, and composed.
Has changed the game, is one of the most famous athletes in the entire world, has given you free promotion that supposedly is all you needed.
Not once has she retaliated. Instead, she channels all her energy into her game, refusing to get caught up in the drama or distractions that others may want to create. So why the hate? Why are players and certain media outlets so quick to criticize Caitlyn Clark? The answer may lie in a more uncomfortable truth. jealousy, and insecurity. Let's face it, Clark's success is undeniable, and for some, that is hard to accept. The more successful she becomes, the more resentment she attracts from those who feel threatened by her meteoric rise.
News surrounding Caitlyn Clark and all of the dirty plays and hard fouls being committed on her, but I feel like it's gotten...
In a highly competitive environment like the WNBA, it's not uncommon for older players or those who haven't reached the same level of fame or success to feel a sense of rivalry. However, the hostility directed at Clark isn't just competitive spirit, it's personal, and it's coming from a very specific segment of the league. Take Angel Reese, for instance. During a March 2023 NCAA tournament game, Reese's aggressive physicality nearly resulted in an injury to Clark. The aftermath.
Pretty absurd, and it's honestly downright embarrassing to see how the WNBA and the media coverage of the WNBA is
visibly in pain, didn't make a scene. She didn't cry foul or lash out at Reese. Instead, she shrugged it off and kept playing. But that's not how the media portrayed the situation. No, they turned on Caitlyn, questioning her toughness and accusing her of not being mentally strong enough. It's baffling. Clark, who has proven herself time and again as one of the most mentally tough athletes in the game, gets criticized for handling adversity with grace. Meanwhile, her opponents, who engage in reckless physical play, get a free pass.
Twitter is currently crashing out over Black Eye Gate. I'm sure we've seen by now this play where Dejanay Carrington pokes Caitlyn Clark in the eye. And after seeing this angle, so many people...
The media's role in all of this cannot be ignored. The WNBA's coverage, in particular, seems to be more focused on generating drama than celebrating the incredible talent that Clark brings to the table. Take the case of Alyssa Thomas, who accused Clark and her team of racism in an explosive social media post. There was no evidence to back up her claims, yet the media latched onto it as if it were a headline-worthy scandal. This type of baseless accusation not only harms Clark's reputation, but also undermines the integrity of the sport itself. Caitlyn Clark, who has worked tirelessly to get to where she is today, suddenly found herself at the center of a controversy she never asked for. No matter how many times she stayed silent, no matter how many times she simply focused on her game, the media refused to let the narrative go. And once again, Clark found herself in a situation where the rules weren't being enforced fairly. What sets Caitlyn Clark apart from the rest isn't just her exceptional skills on the court, it's her poise, her resilience, and her refusal to stoop to the level of those who try to bring her down. Despite facing endless criticism, dirty plays, and unfounded accusations, Clark continues to perform at an elite level.
Are saying that it was intentional, right? Dejanay goes up to steal the ball, and when she comes down, her hand goes like this, straight into Caitlyn's eye.
Her game is a testament to everything that women's basketball can be: powerful, elegant, and inspiring. But the WNBA has a choice to make. Will they continue to let personal animosities and petty rivalries dictate the league's narrative? Or will they finally give Caitlyn Clark the respect and recognition she deserves? If they continue down the current path, they risk losing their most marketable star, the one player who has brought the WNBA the attention it so desperately needs. At the end of the day, Caitlyn Clark will keep playing the way she always has, with heart, determination, and integrity.
Do I think that this was a reckless play? Yes. Do I think that she did it with the intent to hurt Caitlyn Clark? No. Do I think it should have been called a foul or a flagrant one? Yes. But what I'm having a hard time understanding...
And no matter how much some try to bring her down, her greatness will shine through. But the question remains, how long will the WNBA continue to stand in her way?
This could be premeditated in a game. Like, Dejanay would have to be on some next level serial killer type of agenda to be able to accurately poke Caitlyn the way...
The truth is simple. Caitlyn Clark represents the future of women's basketball. She is not just a talented player, but a transformative force.
That she did during that play. She went for the steal, comes down like this, and she's looking away at the same time. I know this is heightened because Dejanay has said things on her Twitter about the fever.
A game changer with the potential to elevate the league to unprecedented heights. Clark is the kind of athlete who draws attention, inspires fans, and reshapes narratives. Yet, instead of celebrating her contributions, the WNBA has allowed jealousy, petty rivalries, and media sensationalism to overshadow her story.
And she's thrown little jabs toward Caitlyn, but we are overreacting on this specific play. Her and Caitlyn both said that it was just a basketball play, and yes, the refs missed this call, but let's not make it anything.
The league's failure to embrace Caitlyn Clark for what she truly represents is not just a disservice to her. It's a missed opportunity to secure its own future. At its core, professional sports thrive on narratives. Every league needs its heroes, villains, and underdogs. Caitlyn Clark is undeniably a hero, a player whose impact transcends the court.
Clark is the reason that a lot of these new fans are watching the WNBA. And anybody saying, oh, it's the rookie class, no, it's not. It's Caitlyn.
Her presence draws in crowds, both seasoned basketball fans and new ones curious about her skills and personality.
To make that judgment that like, oh, every player in the WNBA is jealous of Caitlyn Clark, but after seeing what we've been seeing over...
She has the ability to bridge the gap between traditional WNBA audiences and a younger, more diverse demographic. Her style of play, three-point bombs from seemingly impossible ranges, relentless competitiveness, and unflappable focus, is a product that could help the WNBA capture a larger share of the sports market. Yet, instead of elevating her as a centerpiece of its future,
I changed my mind about that. And at this point, I'm not even just embarrassed of the way that the WNBA is acting toward their new superstar who has opened so many doors for so many.
The WNBA has allowed internal drama and external criticism to define her journey. From absurd accusations labeling her a trash talker.
Embarrassed of just us women. I know from personal experience, the better that you get, the more hate, jealousy, pettiness will come your way. And a lot of times it comes from other women being insecure in themselves.
To questionable officiating that fails to protect her from aggressive play, the league has fumbled the opportunity to position her as its marquee star. These missteps don't just harm Clark, they harm the league's credibility and its ability to foster a welcoming environment for rising talent.
WNBA, the old heads, the ones who are petty, the ones who are jealous, the ones who can't get on the new wave, is what is continuing to hold the league.
Caitlyn Clark isn't just a good basketball player, she's a phenomenon. Her ability to shoot from distances that rival NBA greats like Steph Curry is only part of her allure.
A lot of people online are asking for the WNBA to review this play because as multiple angles have come out of this play, it seems like it might have been intentional.
She plays with an intensity and intelligence that are rare even at the professional level. Clark has made a habit of taking impossible situations and turning them into opportunities for her team. Her performances are electrifying, leaving fans and analysts alike in awe. In college, she was a household name, leading her team to unprecedented success while earning national recognition for her skills. Her transition to the WNBA brought with it sky-high expectations.
It needs to overhaul the referees that they have just been absolutely awful this season. I think Dejanay Carrington poked her in the eye on purpose.
Clark didn't just meet those expectations, she exceeded them, becoming one of the most exciting players in the league almost overnight. But the problem isn't Clark's talent or her ability to deliver on the court.
It was reckless. When she was going for the steal, she didn't care where her hand lay.
It's the way the league and certain players within it have responded to her success. Instead of embracing her as a unifying force, some in the league have sought to diminish her.
That we point this out. One of the things that I brought up this morning in talking about Caitlyn Clark is that some of the players, you want to use the word jealousy, fine.
Questioning her integrity and targeting her with unsubstantiated accusations. The jealousy and pettiness surrounding her rise are not just unfortunate, they're counterproductive.
Fine. You want to use the word envy, fine. You want to use the word resentment, we want to play with words, that's cool. It's something. And I think that some of the ladies, not all.
Jealousy within any professional environment can be toxic, but in the WNBA, it seems to have reached a new level. Clark has become a target not because of her flaws, of which there are few, but because of her excellence.
But some of the ladies in the WNBA are missing the point. And the point is, this girl right here is a box office
She
attraction.
has faced harsh criticism from peers who should be celebrating her as a colleague, not tearing her down as a competitor. This pettiness has created an environment that feels less about fostering the best in women's basketball and more about gatekeeping and infighting. This culture of division is holding the WNBA back. Instead of creating a platform where rising stars can flourish, it sends a message that success will be met with hostility. This isn't just damaging for Clark, it's a warning sign to future players who might otherwise dream of making their mark in the league. If a player as talented, poised, and hardworking as Clark faces this kind of treatment, what hope is there for others? The media has played a significant role in perpetuating the challenges Clark faces. Headlines have focused more on manufactured controversies than on her incredible performances. Whether it's labeling her a trash talker or blowing isolated incidents out of proportion, the media narrative around Clark often feels disconnected from reality. Instead of celebrating her for her historic accomplishments, the focus has too often shifted to petty squabbles and unfounded criticisms. This sensationalism isn't just unfair to Clark. It's a missed opportunity for the WNBA. The league should be working hand in hand with the media to build a positive narrative around its stars, highlighting their achievements and personalities. By allowing these negative stories to dominate, the WNBA is failing to capitalize on the incredible potential Clark brings to the table.